started going to nightclubs in my area in Dalston, and this song system, Jah Shaka song system, I found very interesting. He had a mono song system, very large speakers, and mainly playing reggae dub music. And the crowd that followed him was very consistent. You usually have very similar people surrounding him. And you could see there's about 4 or 5 people that are always in his location. And usually this figure and that figure, there are two DJs. In those days they called them toasters in the late 70s, early 80s. It's, like I said, it's a mono system, one deck, and it's controlled by a valve system, and it takes ages, about an hour to set up. Now, the drawings were made to the length of a record, and the length of a record is usually about between 3 minutes. So I'm there in the nightclub making the drawings on A1 paper on a table, and I'll make about 30 to 40 drawings a night. And usually it's to do with this area where the DJ Jah Shaka is. And the drawings are done very fast. It's very dark. I cannot see what I'm doing properly, because remember it's a nightclub in the early 80s, and in those days, you could do whatever. There's very dim lighting, smoking, the music very loud. So I want to capture that energy that I felt, and the only way to do that was to go there and make drawings at the same time as the records were being played and people are dancing. I usually leave the nightclub about 6 in the morning and go to sleep when I get home, and then about 12 o'clock I'll look at the drawings, and probably I'll use about 5 or 6 to make paintings from. This one is, there's a stillness in this one, because it's one of the very early nightclub paintings of Jah Shaka. I try to stick to more detail, but as the painting developed, usually they incorporate more movement. So these particular figures, I'll draw any of these figures in this painting, I'll draw them at least 5, 6, 7, 8 times, because they're usually always there. And you could see they're wearing particular clothing, usually related to the Rastafarian movement. So the headgear is very pronounced, very elaborate. Yeah. And it's very dark. And usually Jah Shaka has lots of pictures of Haile Selassie going to dinner, Haile Selassie dressed up in all different regalias. Yeah. The painting would have taken me about a month, 3 weeks to a month to do. In those days, I used to make paintings very quick in the 80s, because because I went to the nightclub, the feeling and the energy was more immediate. So when I start making the paintings, I had that feeling and energy of being in the nightclub, what it feels like to be in that space with the song with song system, with all that music coming down on you. It's a very deep, rich sound, and I want you to feel the presence of being there. So the figures, they're life-size basically. It's an important painting because it started a sort of a part of my painting life to as a focus to develop from. So there will be always something in my painting that has some of that.